who is also a part of our communications financial aid services team. Today's presentation will be recorded and posted online about a week from today in case you want to watch it or hear it again. The webcast will be available on our SFAP webpage and will be located under Stay Connected on our webcast archives. As we go through the presentation, we will be answering questions in the chat box. Leah Smalley and Deshay Reed will be fielding questions, so feel free to drop them as we go. Without further ado, let's get started. We have a variety of topics today. As you are well aware, August is a very busy month for institutions with the fall 2022 semester starting up. We thought it would be a great idea to provide an online resource overview to walk through our Student Financial Aid Program webpage in detail and briefly review our other agency websites. We will also address a common HELMNet certification question we have been receiving. From there, we will discuss Texas Comptroller closure and its impacts. Next, we will briefly discuss some TASFA updates. And lastly, we will go over reminders, updates, and deadlines while leaving room at the end to answer remaining questions you may have. First on the list, we will do an online resource overview. For this topic, we will go through various online resources for students and institutions with a deeper dive into institutional resources, since these are critical for staff that need them to administer state financial aid programs. Let's start with a quick review of our 3 agency financial aid websites. Today, we will focus most of our time on the Student Financial Aid Programs webpage, which is dedicated to support institutions and is located on the agency's main website at highered.texas.gov. After that, we will briefly review our student resource websites, which include College for All Texans and HH Loans. As we go through these slides, feel free to bookmark them for future reference since they come in handy when you're administering your programs. Okay, so first off is our Student Financial Aid Programs webpage, or SFAP. To navigate to this page, go to the main agency website and on the top menu, click on Institutional Resources and Programs, and then go down to the Student Financial Aid Programs link. Once you get to the main SFAP page, you will see 2 main categories: our Stay Connected page and Program Resources. Each of these house a lot of subpages and resources, so we will go through them each individually. One thing to also be aware of is that we often post important alerts at the top of the page, such as system maintenance notices or holiday closures, so definitely check out this page for updates periodically. Another thing you'll notice is we have our contact information link on the side banner. We will be going through the steps to submit an online inquiry in a bit, but we wanted to make sure people are aware of the different locations for this link. Okay, so let's first focus on the Stay Connected page. This was created to provide different types of information to keep institutions informed on changes or new information related to state aid programs. At the top of our page is our most recent communications, which provides the last 5 memos that have been sent to institutions. In this example on your screen, you will see a very important memo that was sent on August 18 that shared reminders on how to request your funds for FY23 and some resource updates, which we will point out as we continue to go through this presentation together. In the event that you missed a memo or want to refer back to one that was sent previously, you can find them at the bottom of the page under the archived memos section. We currently have the past 3 memos the past 3 years worth of memos, but please note that we will be removing 2020 memos at the start of the new calendar year to make room for the new 2023 award year. The webcast archives are also located under Stay Connected. On this page, you will be able to find all prior webcasts for the past 3 years, which can be super helpful for new hires or to review different topics and processes. Next, we have an online form to sign up for our SFAP listserv, which is a great way to ensure you receive financial aid updates. As a reminder, we post all memos that are sent through the listserv on this webpage, so it's a good idea to check here to ensure you haven't missed anything. The last thing we want to touch on under Stay Connected is a section where we provide an institutional calendar, which is posted 3 times a year. We recently posted the fall 2022 calendar, so you'll want to review it to see what's coming up in the next few months. Now let's hop on over to the program resources. This page is going to provide a ton of valuable information and resources for our various state aid programs. At the top, you'll see that we have different categories such as grants, loans, and work study. In the updates memo we discussed previously, there were 4 exemption program guidelines that were provided, which are posted under this category. You'll want to share this page with the department that handles your exemption and waiver programs so they can have access to these important resources. Another thing you'll notice on most of the SFAP pages is a side banner that also includes links to resources or forms which are related to the programs. One item we posted on the program resources side banner is a comprehensive version of the program guidelines, which is nice since the guidelines, since it combines all state programs into one document for easy reference. As you drill down into specific program categories such as grants, you'll find additional resources on the side banners that are related to those particular programs. Things like instructions, links to user access forums, and links to our web portals like CVPass, MoveIt, and HelmNet. Something else you'll find on the program resources page are the financial aid reporting and resources, our financial aid reporting resources. In this example, you can see that we have our financial aid database manual, and you can also find the state campus-based report, which will be coming soon for FY 2022. This is also where we house the TASFA. You will find current year and prior year versions along with other helpful information. Lastly, the selective service statement of registration status is available in both English and Spanish, which institutions can use to meet the selective service requirement for all state financial aid programs. Next, we will be moving on to our College for All Texans website. This is a great resource that can be utilized by students, parents, and school counselors. The website is geared towards providing college readiness resources to the general public. Under the financial aid section, students can find general eligibility requirements for state grants, scholarships, loans, exemptions, and waiver programs, and the Texas College Work Study Program. Students are also able to find information on the TASFA from application instructions to who needs to submit a TASFA and PDF copies of the application. Students are also able to find a link to the state net price calculator that will lead them to our highered.texas.gov website, where it is hosted. And we have it on this page just to keep all student resources in a central location. Moving on to another student resource is hhloans.com. This website is a great borrower resource where one can find eligibility information for the college access loan and the Texas Armed Services Scholarship Program. You can also find various forms that are needed throughout the loan process, from postponements, discharge, and forgiveness forms. This website is also packed with information on loan repayment assistance programs. In addition to providing borrower information, borrowers and administrators can access their Helmnet accounts by visiting this page. If you see on the left-hand corner, the website screenshot, there is a View My Account button and an Apply Online button that will lead you to Helmnet. Next, I'll be handing over the presentation to Alex.
Thank you, Giselle, and good afternoon, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here with y'all today. At this time, we will take a closer look at the Helmnet certification process for the college access loan. In the first step, once you have logged into Helmnet, you will click on the borrower query link from the menu on the left-hand side, which is shown here. In step 2, you will enter the student's information in the borrower query tab. Then you will click on the blue button next to the student's name. Before we look at step 3, I would like to shed some light on the new school certification button above the application section, which is highlighted here in blue. A common misconception about this button is that it is there to perform new Cal certifications, but it's not. This button is there only to initiate task scholarships. So we're currently working to modify this button and to provide more clarity for institutions in the near future. But moving right along into step 3 and how to certify, you may need to scroll down to the application section and click on the blue plus sign in the application ID section. You will see, or once this is expanded, if the loan is ready for certification, then you can click on the Edit Certification Information button, which is highlighted in red. Now, this button may be on the same line as everything else, or it may be under the Application ID section, depending on your screen resolution settings. If you do not see the Edit Certification Information button, then you can check the borrower's progress by clicking the Click Here for Status button, highlighted here in blue, located under the Current Status section. And on this next slide, you will see that in the pictured example of the checklist, the top 5 tasks have been checked, including the lender approval completed section. So in this case, the loan would be ready to be certified. And if there are any check marks that are missing, the student should contact borrower services to verify the next step. And then now we're going to move right on into step 5. Once you have clicked on Edit Certification Information, you will scroll down to see these fields. You will enter the certification information in the fields that are not gray, which is shown here on the bottom left-hand side. Fields include grade level, enrollment status, academic loan period, and anticipated graduation date, to name a few. But most of all, you would want to make sure that the requested loan amount is correct before moving forward in the certification process. And as a quick reminder, please note that you will not be able to increase the loan amount once it is certified. Then at the very bottom of that same page, you will see the certification acknowledgement section where you can read the clause, hit the radio dial button to certify, and then submit your certification. And then you're all set. But please keep in mind that we are working with the programmers to make sure that the verbiage will be more clear, but that may not be completed until a few months from now. So we do appreciate your patience with us on this undertaking. And what we'll do now is just shift gears right into the Texas Comptroller closure updates and how this will impact all state financial aid programs, including the College Access Loan Program. The Comptroller's office will be closed starting at 7 p.m. on Wednesday, August 31st, and will reopen at 7 a.m. on Friday, September the 2nd. Regular payment processing for grants and special programs from the CB will begin on September the 2nd. For the CAL, the loan acceptance disclosure would have needed to be accepted by the student no later than August the 15th for funds to arrive to the institution before the date of comptroller closure, which is August 31st. A way you can help the student figure out when to expect their disbursement and to determine if their LAD was acknowledged is to access the borrower summary tab in the same way that we reviewed in the HelmNet certification segment. Then you would again search by the student's account information and view their loan application checklist as shown in this picture. Before I give an example of how this affects the disbursement process on the college access loan, let's look at a quick review of the disbursement process. What you're currently looking at right now is an overview of the process from the time that the student completes the application process all the way to the time that funding is dispersed to you, the institution. What we're going to focus on is the last 3 steps in the process that will be most affected by the comptroller closure, which are the dates in which the student accepts the loan acceptance disclosure agreement or the LAD, the loan consummation disclosure or the right to cancel document that advises the early date for delivery of funds, and the disbursement of funds to you, the institution, once the 7-day cancellation period has expired. So in this example, the student accepts their LAD on August the 15th. Then the LCD process, also known as the right to cancel period, would be from, in this example, August 16th to August the 24th, because we do have to account for mailing time and the time that it allows the student to exercise their right to cancel the loan. Then extraction process begins on August the 25th. Then 3 business days from that time, the school will receive the disbursement on 8/30. So I hope this quick overview has provided some clarity for you. But at this time, what I will do is go ahead and turn this over to Leah to discuss the TASFA updates.
Thank you, Alex. I'm just requesting control here so I can go through these slides with y'all. Hopefully everyone's doing well today. Haven't talked to y'all in a while, so thanks for having me. So I wanted to provide a brief update on TASFA. As you may be aware, some opening dates are coming up here soon, so I wanted to address those with y'all today. So let me see if I can move this forward. It's having some technical issues here, so give me just a moment. Here we go, hang on. Just one more time. Okay, let's try this one more time. It's always when you're trying to do something with hundreds of people on a call. All right. So it's not working. That's okay. We'll do this, Giselle. Why don't you move the slide forward and I'll just go from there. That'll work. Let's see. Thank you. All right. So an announcement was sent last Friday on August 26th to communicate that the online TASFA is not going to be launching October 1 as we intended. Down below on the screen, you'll notice this is the announcement that was sent out. So I'll just go through it with y'all briefly. And if you want a copy of this, we have it on our SFAP webpage on the main site where Giselle mentioned that we post alerts and notifications. So we have it on that page as well as on the TASFA section. So the statement read, "Dear colleagues, the agency is working hard to finalize the development of the online TASFA. Unfortunately, the product's 23-24 release is delayed. To ensure students can maximize financial aid funding, we're encouraging students to complete the paper TASFA starting on October 1 of 22. Extending the online TASFA timeline will enable us to provide adequate training to educators, students, and families, and improve data transmission with institutions. In the meantime, we're working to ensure students and institutions have a high quality experience with the online TASFA by doing extensive testing, both internally and externally. We are also planning outreach to support educators, students, and their families when the product launches. As we work to finalize the online TASFA, we will alert stakeholders of new release dates and other milestones. For institutions that have their own online TASFA, we will reach out to you individually to discuss what this means for you this year. Now, we realize some of you may have seen this or may not. If you do have questions that are specific to your institution, please send us an email and we'll set up a time to call you individually and talk about that. And we can go through any scenarios or questions that may be on your mind. But in today's presentation, we'll go ahead and move forward to the next slide, and that's really to focus on the paper TASFA. So most of y'all have used the paper TASFA for years now, so this really won't be a big change in the sense that the paper form will continue to be published every year regardless of the online TASFA. So one thing I wanted to make y'all aware of is a draft paper TASFA will be sent to institutions in September to prepare for the October 1 release. This is something that we've done for the past, I think it's about 3 or 4 years now, and it's a good way for institutions to kind of have a heads up on what's changed, how does it look, that kind of thing. So this version is not going to be fillable and it should not be distributed to students since sometimes we identify changes that need to happen before we release it on October 1. So this is really just a sneak peek, and it does include kind of all the changes in an itemized listing, so it's really helpful. Now, the final English and Spanish versions will be published on October 1 on College for All Texans and SFAP, and that is to align with the FAFSA as well. We want to make sure that the students can have access to the paper TASFA at the same time that they can access the online FAFSA. Now, some reminders, we've gone through this in prior webcasts, and I think we published it at one point. I know I've done it at several trainings, but there were changes to the paper form, and it was partially to align with FAFSA, and it was also because of the development of the online TASFA. So we had a TASFA committee who is still heavily involved in all the testing and whatnot. And what we did is we went question by question on the TASFA to determine, are there any questions that are just not necessary? And we came up with approximately 8, which I've listed here. And again, we've gone through these on other webcasts before. So just real quickly, those include number 17, which was the date of high school or GED graduation. And so that one's going to be removed. The college grade level is going to be removed. The degree and certificate the student's attempting, we were told that that's really not something that's used by the institutions, not at least from the TASFA. The number of credits enrolled, as you know, it can change from when they fill it out. So that one's being removed. An associate degree for transfers. Usually most of these things are confirmed from a transcript of some sort, so that's being removed. Number 25, which was conviction restrictions, is being removed from the TASFA, but I do want to make sure that people are clear that that does not mean that you don't need to confirm that for the Texas grant and the TEOG. Now, the law has not changed on that. The reason that it's being removed is because institutions on our committee confirmed that, they're not using the TASFA as their statement of eligibility for state aid. They actually have a dedicated form or a different process. So really, this didn't have enough information on the TASFA to be useful, but I just wanted to point that out because it's not going away. It's not that you're not required to do it. It's just not going to be something that the student answers on the TASFA. There wasn't enough information to really put it on there. And it doesn't impact all programs that the student would be applying for through TASFA. So it was just kind of a confusing item. Number 26 is previously received state aid. We removed that one since a lot of students, they said, didn't really know what that meant. And then work authorization and work study interest, those were removed as well, since they said that they usually do outreach to students individually, or they didn't rely on the TASFA for that one as well. Last note here, as a reminder, all institutions are required for 23-24 to accept the TASPA from eligible students. So if you're an institution that, used the FAFSA or had a rejected FAFSA, just a reminder, if they turn in a paper form, that is something that you do need to have on file and process using that data, because that is a change to the rules that we published, was that you do have to start using that. Now, again, this may generate some questions. We will be providing more updates as the months go by, the weeks. We will be going to the TASPA conference coming up, where we will be providing additional updates. So definitely keep in touch with us. We'll continue to provide those as they become available. But as of right now, I'm going to actually turn it back over to Alex, and she's going to be going through another section. So Giselle, if you want to move it forward to the next piece, since I can't move it myself, we will have Alex pick up here, and then I will talk to y'all soon.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Leah. I appreciate that. Second here.
Might just want Giselle to drive. It seems like it's not wanting to
Taking a little
cooperate
bit.
today.
It's taking a little bit.
I've decided it's because it's thundering here, and so maybe it's just messing with our technology. So, Giselle, if you want to just move it forward to the next slide for Alex, I don't think there's too many other slides left anyway. There we go.
All right. Well, here's some reminders, updates, and deadlines to keep in mind. We have our Texas Transfer Grant informational webcast on September the 1st. Schools can start requesting funds for the 2023 fiscal year as of now, but funds will not be processed until after the Labor Day holiday. Our comprehensive program guidelines and the fall 2022 institutional calendar is now live. All exemption and waiver guidelines have been updated to reflect the new selective service statement and child support arrearages verbiage. And all these documents mentioned are now available for viewing on our SFAP website. The paper TASPA draft and the state campus-based report for fiscal year 2022 will both be available for viewing here very soon in the coming weeks. The deadline to expend or return funds for the fiscal year 2022 Texas College Work-Study Program will be tomorrow, August the 31st. And lastly, the deadline to communicate ineligible Good Neighbor Program recipients is October the 15th, so please mark your calendars. There are a couple of different ways to contact us if you have any questions regarding this presentation. We have several phone lines that can be used by you, the student, the institution, and the general public. The first one is for student borrowers and cosigners that participate in either the CAL, Texas Armed Service, or even the Be On Time programs. They can give us a call using that top number there. We also have Texas Financial Aid Information Center phone line, of which is available to the general public. If there is a question you cannot answer, then you can direct the student over to this phone line, but please try to limit these inquiries to financial aid if possible. And we do have an institutional line just for you to ask any questions or address any concerns you may have. And finally, we have our contact us option. We do recommend using this method if you would like to receive your response in writing. In order to submit a contact us, to make sure that your inquiries are routed correctly, please complete these following steps. You would select institution from the received from box. Then in the institution box, you'll enter the school's full name. Then you will always select financial aid question as the contact reason. Then you will want to describe your inquiry in 4,000 characters or less. and then provide us a best direct phone number to reach you should we need to contact you for any reason. And ladies and gentlemen, that concludes our August webcast. We again would like to thank you for taking the time to meet with us this afternoon. At this time, we'll open the floor for you to ask any questions in the chat that you may have at this time.
One quick thing, Alex, since I'm reading the questions on the chat, I just wanted to clarify one thing, that when I said TASFA conference, I wanted to clarify that's the organization, not for the application itself. We will be presenting on the state forum, but the actual organization is what I was referring to, so I didn't mean to cause confusion when I said that. So Deshay did provide the dates of that conference. You can go to their website and look up the topics that'll be presented on this year. They also have a new aid officer basic workshop where we present on state aid. So you'll want to go on there and see if that's something you want to attend. It's going to be in Corpus Christi this year. So I just wanted to chime in on that because I saw at least 3 different things and I wanted to be clear.
All righty, really quick, do we have Deshay or Leah? Okay, it looks like we're all set. Awesome. Just a quick reminder that we will have the recorded webcast available about a week after today. So just in case you want to watch it or hear it again, it'll be available around that time frame. The webcast will be on our SFAP Stay Connected website under Webcast Archives. So once again, thank you so much for joining us, everyone. Oh, looks like we have another question in the chat. Do we want to answer that, ladies?
So if there's any additional questions, if you can go ahead and send the contact us with the details, that'll give us time to review it and get back to you. That would be good, just so we can respond in writing to those. So I think we're all set.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much for joining us. Have a great afternoon, everyone.
Thank
Take care.
you.